Alright guys, ShahZaM back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News. Loads of updates today with the lock-in tournaments coming up very soon indeed, especially with G2 for the challenger side starting their own boot camp, which might be a key difference maker in terms of the matches coming up this weekend. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Sorry for no video yesterday. I just got back from a flight overnight from Boston that I slept on for like 1 hour. I was absolutely shattered and I looked through the VALORANT News and I was like, it's not actually that much that happened yesterday, so just decided to give it a day off. But we're back in business today, baby. And first of all, this from Bodork, noticing here that there's been some copy here written on Edward Gaming, of course, kind of the most well-known Chinese team, that it says representing China. So there's an argument to say that they're going to start some sort of Chinese league. Now, I don't imagine they're going to create like their own VCT region 4 that's just China yet. I wonder whether these teams eventually will be concluded or will be included in the kind of Asia Pacific region. But that's also tricky because they've got their own process for qualifying through the Ascension tournaments, right? So exactly what they do with China, I don't know. But there's a theory that they will be starting some sort of Chinese league, whether that's within the VCT, whether that's kind of separate to it, kind of what the regional leagues used to be, I don't know. But we'll see about that one, but definitely a likely possibility. Also, a big note in the Asia Pacific region, that Seoul team that we talked about a couple of days ago, kind of powered by a lot of big creators, is partnering with Global Esports. So it makes a lot of sense, I guess, for the Indian team to do this, but pretty cool announcement nonetheless. We've also got, though, the teams in Sao Paulo ready to go. We see this here for mixwell practice rooms ready, hashtag Vamos Heretics. So, of course, yeah, here they are, getting ready to go for the big lock-in tournament that's coming up very soon in, well, it's on the 13th of February in just a few days' time. And also, cNed Brazil, cNed Valorant also out there, ready to go as well. So the teams are getting prepared. Now, these teams that might play, I mean, Cloud9 play Paper X round 1. They may play one series and go home. Sentinels play Fnatic round 1. Either of those teams one of them will play one series and go straight home again. Speaking of the lock-in, there's exclusive earn in-game VCT content as well. So these are kind of the details in this link here, but also these are what's going on here, as Valor Intel say. So to earn the locked-in title, watch a game sometime between February 13th and the 4th of March. Then to earn the Dad's Hat Buddy, watch a live game during the grand finals. So, you know, pretty cool stuff. And obviously it makes sense. They could have done some cooler stuff than this. Maybe could have added some additional things in. But, you know, it makes sense. I know that what people will do is they'll just tune in very briefly just for this locked-in thing and they'll just dip out again for the entirety until the grand finals. So what you could do to improve that kind of numbers of conversions here is to say, okay, you've got to watch for like a certain amount of time during this period or whatever the case is. But still pretty cool and will help the viewership numbers get up a little bit as well. Some note on the patch notes as well here. So 6.02, nothing significant changing here, but they've just made a few systems updates to ping. So playing against hyping players should now feel more forgiving is what they say. Whether that's true, that's another question. Some social updates as well, the voice evaluation beta, which I think is meant to like listen to what you say, and if you're trash talking people, you'll get like you know, you'll probably give it like a social credit score or something, and you go down on your social credit score if you talk too bad. I don't really know, but sounds a little bit weird to me at least. But I think that was caused a bit of controversy when that was initially announced last year sometime. Some notes though on Lotus, players will no longer make footstep audio when dropping from B-site platform to the fountain. That's actually quite a big deal, to be fair. The Lotus door volume has been lowered yet again. It was a massive deal when this map was first announced that the doors just make so much sound. It's been lowered yet again though, because you don't really want them making too much noise on the map, to be honest. And then players next to each other while rotating doors rotating should feel smoother. So a few updates there to Lotus, but no major changes. Some agent fixes as well, potentially fixed a bug with KO's 0 point not showing the correct enemies it's suppressed, which is a pretty big deal. A couple of other fixes as well, potentially to the boom bot from Raze, the path finding, so whether it's going to go some more sensible direction sometimes is quite a big deal as well. And then some things with Cypher, the neural theft, and some issues as well that have been solved. So no crazy changes or anything. Makes sense they're not going to make a major update right before the lock-in tournament begins, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get some big ones as the season progresses further. Quick note as well from a Heretics mixwell and team, they somehow matched up yesterday against Evil Geniuses in a ranked 5-stack. Thought it was pretty funny, really. I'll just bring this up on the big screen here. So obviously this is our Team Heretics versus the guys on Evil Geniuses, and they are playing, if we just bring it up on this screen, and this is not a scrim they played, right? This is just a ranked match they went into as a 5-stack and happened to find the other team that was also 5-stacking at this tournament, right? So pretty cool stuff to see. But yeah, just to note here the players and the fact that they won this 16-14 in the end. BCJ was topping the lot on Reyna, right? And that was the argument here that Ethan gave, was like, look, you guys are actually using a proper composition, even though, you Phoenix actually getting some use nowadays, but they were running Neon, Phoenix, Jet, Raze, and Reyna, which is definitely an interesting comp, and an EG were running Reyna, Omen, Sage, Raze, and Sova, which maybe is less so, and that's certainly what Ethan kind of says here in the replies. He said, look, you guys had an unfair advantage, you run a meta comp, not even fair, but still pretty interesting. Hopefully we see these teams play at least one game at the major tournaments, because, I mean, otherwise we're going to get very little to see on a lot of these teams. And even FNS was making the point very recently that a lot of these teams will attend, that you basically have no VOD on, and this is the difficulty for some teams such as, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, even Sentinels, maybe to a lesser degree, that there is that Ludwig Tarek Invitational, there was the Red Bull Homegrounds, all these teams that have just formed a brand new roster, there's basically no VOD to prepare on these teams. Who knows what their good maps are? Who knows how they're going to play, what their style is going to be? Nobody really knows. Some teams, you've got some practice VOD to watch and review, such as what 100 Thieves played in December, a long time ago now, but still, you can maybe glean something from it. And that might be a difference maker, but it also might mean we see a lot of upsets this tourney, just because teams have no idea what to expect from their opposition. Thought it was funny talking to rostermania quickly here from Solgi, who does some leaks on more of the Asia Pacific scene, but someone just DM'd them saying they're from Sport Key, that I write articles on esports, can you tell me the upcoming roster? And, don't lie about being from any publisher to try and get leaks. That was a pretty funny idea, but unfortunately didn't work out for the supposed targeter. But this is the other big thing I wanted to mention for you guys on ShahZaM. Currently, of course, on G2, their team has been doing pretty well so far. They, of course, won their first game last time out in the Challenger side. Now, of course, a bootcamp as a concept has been a thing for a very long time, and as ShahZaM says right here, bootcamp they're doing with presumably the entire team. So what's been happening for years at this point really is that a lot of these players will be in Dallas, Texas, and will do some sort of bootcamp as a team getting ready to go. And often what you'll find is that actually playing in a facility as a team is going to take your team play to the next level, rather than just playing from each of your individual apartments, because when you get to playing proper matches, things are a little bit different when you're sitting next to each other, especially when it comes to actually playing a proper tournament. Let's say they qualify for the Ascension tournament at the end of the year. They're going to be playing on LAN, they're going to be, it better be on LAN, right? They're going to be next to each other, and, having got some practice playing in that environment is going to be an awful lot better. And when you're actually there in person with your teammates discussing ideas in person, that's probably way better than talking about this stuff online over the internet. So what they've done, presumably in Los Angeles, is hired out some building to have a facility for them to actually play and practice in as a boot camp, and also play their matches from. Means the internet connection between the players is better, has a large array of other benefits, will be presumably rather expensive doing it. I'm guessing they're doing it in LA, because I think that's where the guys are based right now. I think dapr arrived in LA relatively recently as well. So cool idea from G2. Shows they're definitely taking it seriously, right? Because, I mean, look, you've got to. It's kind of funny to me, but Tier 2 is actually almost more entertaining to me than Tier 1, especially the way the formats are going. Just because the level of competition down there in Challengers to qualify for Tier 1 through Ascension is going to be incredibly intense, and the teams are going to be doing absolutely everything to make it happen, and, especially by doing boot camps just like this. Some teams already have facilities. G2, I guess, don't exactly have that going on, because predominantly, initially, at least a European organization, they're now trying to get into the North American Valorant scene, and this facility bootcamp type thing they're doing might well be one step on that journey. Just did want to share one clip here before we discuss the matches of today from babybay, because, a player like babybay, he's not on a Tier 2 team, but he's expecting to get signed by a Tier 1 team. And obviously people are going to, roast him for this, and maybe understandably so, that he feels confident that teams are still going to pick him up from Tier 1, despite not really being a player. Even FNS was saying recently, if you want to get picked up, actually play some other agents other than just Sentinels, which maybe is a good argument as well. But also the argument could be there from my side. It's like, well, as I said the other day, are any Tier 2 teams realistically going to let go of any of their players? Especially the likes of the Guard, G2, these guys. Unless there's a massive offer that comes in from a Tier 1 team for some players in Tier 2, those organizations probably want to keep those players to qualify through Ascension. So maybe a guy like babybay or a guy like Marv, for example, who's outside of anything, actually has a better chance.
I plan on joining a team whenever a team needs a good sentinel. It's not up to me, bro. I'm ready to play. Are you not been signed yet? Are you asking for a hella money or what? I think it's just like a timing thing. When teams were signing players, Chambers still met us. So my stock had I had no new stock at that time. I think now, as you see these teams struggling to figure out that role, and if they start losing, then you'll see changes for Sentinel players. Hopefully, me. I've been real bad timing wise. Signed to a tier 1 org and then Chamber comes out. That directly affects my role. And then I get dropped like mid-season. Chamber's meta for in like months. Before it got nerfed, teams are re-signing. I try to adapt a little bit, learn initiator, got really good with fade. That's just how it is, man. You got to make do with your situation.
So just to mention then the games that are going on tonight, the Guards play again, another beautiful graphic they make here against all esports they play today. Should be a good 2-0 start for them. And these are the games, so these are the current groups as they stand, and just the games of today and tomorrow. So today in Group A, we have Shopify Rebellion versus Oxygen. That's going to be a very exciting one actually, because Oxygen were probably good enough to beat Breakthrough last week, but it didn't happen. But Shopify dominated their series against Turtle Troop. And then in Group B, that's the Guard versus All Esports match that we just saw. So hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.